Good morning, Jayhawks, and welcome back to another episode of Good Morning KU Sports. I'm your host, Lauren Ritchie. Today we've got you covered with the NBA playoffs, KU's WNIT run, the men's and women's Final Four, opening day, and League with Lauren all after the break. Welcome back, everyone. As promised last week, I have the remaining NBA Jayhawks to highlight today. Andrew Wiggins, the round 1 pick 1 player of the 2014 draft, was picked up by the Cleveland Cavaliers but was later traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves, where he was named the 2015 NBA Rookie of the Year. He currently resides with the Golden State Warriors but has been out for the past 3 weeks due to personal issues with no timetable on a return. The 28-year-old only spent 1 year at Kansas but became the 14th Jayhawk to win an NBA title and the second Jayhawk to be selected first in the NBA draft, joining Danny Manning in 1988. Former Jayhawk guard Wayne Selden Jr. appeared in 3 games for the Knicks during the 2021-22 season, but he was unable to crack the regular rotation before he was ultimately waived in January of 2022. He has since headed overseas to compete in Turkey after failing to catch on with a new NBA team ahead of the 2022-23 season. He spent 5 years in the NBA, 3 seasons with the Chicago Bulls, 1 with the Memphis Grizzlies, and 1 with the New Orleans Pelicans. In his time for those teams, he played in 124 games, averaging 19 minutes and scoring over 7 points in each game. Ben McLemore was drafted back in 2013 by the Sacramento Kings as the 7th overall pick. After playing for 9 seasons, the former Portland Trailblazer guard is now a free agent, still trying to find a team. After 5 different teams, McLemore has seen an increase in statistics as he tries to find a fitting team. That's all I have for you on League with Lauren. I'm going to pass it over to Barry with an update on the NBA playoffs.
Thank you, Lauren. And NBA fans, that time is getting closer. You should really be prepared of what's destined to happen these next 13 days. Well, unless if you're a fan of a team that's not in contention. We don't know what's in store right now, but it's going to be a lot of controversy. When you see this empty bracket, you see potential of teams, who the big dog is, and who the underdog is. First team I want to talk about is the Dallas Mavericks. They went on a 4-game losing streak, but broke it yesterday with the win over the Pacers. They have been 7-9 since adding Kyrie. Luka and Kyrie haven't played that many games together. You have to let chemistry run its course. When it does, this duo will be scary by April 11th. Moving up, we have again a sticky situation between the 4th seed through the 11th seed. Remember, 3 of these teams won't see the playoffs. There's been a little heat between the Bulls and Lakers. Bulls guard Patrick Beverley, used to be Laker, doesn't want his past team in the playoffs. AD, of course, had to chime in defending his team. Unfortunately for the Los Angeles Lakers, they lost on Sunday, which put them back under 500. These two meet again on Wednesday. So tune in. Fun fact alert. In the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers have clinched their first playoff appearance since 1998 without LeBron James. Another fun fact. Every year, Donovan Mitchell has been in the league. He has always been in the playoffs. Lastly, we have to talk about parades in cities. Ever since John Morant has come back to the Memphis Grizzlies, they have been 3-0. His first 2 games were off the bench, but his recent game against the Hawks, who are also battling their spots for the playoff contention, he started there. The way things are going in the West with the Warriors in the mix-up, we could possibly see a potential rematch between the Warriors and Grizzlies. For now, though, we're going to send it to break.
What's up, everybody? I'm Lindsay Ryan, and today I've got all things women's basketball. We have made it down to the 4 teams in the women's NCAA tournament. LSU, Iowa, South Carolina, and Virginia Tech, who have all advanced to Dallas for the Final Four. This March has been nothing less than exciting, including multiple broken records. Caitlin Clark delivered a record-setting performance, 41 points, 10 rebounds, and 12 assists, in the Iowa Hawkeyes Elite Eight matchup against the Louisville Cardinals as she sealed her team's ticket to the Final Four with a 97-83 win. This will be Iowa's first Final Four appearance in 30 years. Louisville got off to a hot start, scoring the first 8 points of the game, but Iowa recovered and gained the lead with 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. After that, the Hawkeyes never looked back. Clark ended the game with her 11th career triple-double and in the process became the first player in NCAA tournament history to record a 40-point triple-double. In doing so, the junior also became the first player in Division I women's basketball history to record more than 900 points and 300 assists in the same season. With one of the best individual season runs, Clark was recently named both the Naismith National Player of the Year and the Associated Press National Player of the Year. The number 3 seed LSU Tigers moved past the number 9 Miami Hurricanes on Sunday for their spot in the Final Four. Alexis Morris led the Tigers with 21 points. Angel Reese was not productive on the offensive side, finishing with 13 points and just 20% from the floor. But she grabbed 18 rebounds to secure her 32nd double-double of the season, breaking the SEC record for most double-doubles in a season. LSU held Miami to just 27 points through the first 3 quarters, the lowest total in this year's tournament. Both teams struggled from behind the arc, going 1 for 27 with the lone three-pointer coming from the Tigers' Qatari Poole late in the fourth quarter. The undefeated number 1 seed Gamecocks of South Carolina advanced after defeating Maryland 86-75. The Gamecocks led by 8 at halftime due mostly to the offense of Aaliyah Boston, who finished with 20 points and 10 rebounds. South Carolina is making its 5th Final Four appearance in program history, all which are under head coach Dawn Staley. The Gamecocks are 2-2 all-time in Final Four games, with the wins in 2017 and 2022 resulting in national champions. And the final team to stamp their ticket to Dallas was the Virginia Tech Hokies. Georgia Amore contributed 24 points after the win over the Ohio State Buckeyes last night, 84-74. This will be the first time in the Hokies program that they have reached the Final Four. LSU and Virginia Tech are set to face off tonight at 6 p.m., and on the other side, Iowa will face up against South Carolina later at 8:30. As for KU, even though the Jayhawks were snubbed by the NCAA, they have proved their worth in the WNIT tournament. Let's send it over to Landon to hear more about it.
With the WNIT tournament winding down, a familiar face finds themselves battling for it all. I'm Landon Welch, and I'm here to break down KU women's basketball in the WNIT Fab 4. The KU women's basketball punched their ticket to the WNIT championship this Wednesday in Allen Fieldhouse as they beat the visiting Washington Huskies 61-36 in front of a crowd of over 7,200. The Jayhawks were led by seniors Tiana Jackson and Zakiya Franklin as they scored 12 and 14 points respectively. Jackson finished with 11 rebounds of her own while also registering 3 blocks to contribute to the Jayhawks' stifling defensive effort. The Jayhawks jumped out to an early 6-point lead in the first quarter, but after a couple of three-pointers by the bench by Sana Strom and Sophia Talegdi, the Jayhawks took the lead and kept the lead. It is strong to note the production from the Jayhawks bench in this one. The bench scored more points in the first quarter than any other game they played in the WNIT tournament so far. While neither team particularly shot the ball well, Kansas's energy and defensive effort paved the way to jumping out to a lead as large as 28. Wednesday's game also had the largest attendance for a home game that the team has seen all season. The crowd noise was sure a factor in providing energy and emotion for the women to play off of. This all sets the stage for the WNIT championship game against Columbia. The Lions were also one of the first teams out of the Women's March Madness tournament, so this one should be one for the books. The WNIT championship game will be played right here on April 1st in Lawrence at Allen Fieldhouse, with tip-off being set for 4:30. The game can be watched on the CBS Sports Network. Get your tickets now as the girls will look to hoist a WNIT championship banner this coming Saturday. That's all I have for now. After the break, Liam Carson will break down the men's March Madness Final Four.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
After a tournament full of madness, the road to Houston has officially ended. I'm Liam Carson, and I'm here to break down men's March Madness. The stage is set with the final 4 teams: UConn, Miami, San Diego State, and Florida Atlantic. This will be the first Final Four with no number 1, 2, or 3 seeds, with 4-seed UConn being the highest. First, let's take a look on how these teams punched their tickets to Houston. First, FAU took down Kansas State 79-76 on Saturday to win the East region. FAU picked up their 35th win on the season with a balanced performance. 4 of their starters scored double digits, and the team is legit. And they proved they belong in the Final Four. The West region was won by red-hot UConn after they blasted Gonzaga, winning 82-54. No one has fazed the Huskies this tournament, winning their first 4 matchups by a combined 90 points. They certainly look primed for another championship run. Sunday's Elite 8 games tipped off with San Diego State beating Creighton 57-56 in a game that was decided on a last-second foul call on Creighton in a tie game to put San Diego State's Darion Trammell on the line with a chance to ice the game. The senior missed the first but was able to make the second one to send his team to the Final Four, winning the South region. The last ticket was punched when Miami beat Texas 88-81 in a game they trailed most of the time. The Hurricanes, down by 13 points with just 13 minutes to go, used a second-half surge to get past the Longhorns and win the Midwest region. The Canes starters came to play as they all scored double digits, while senior guard Jordan Miller dropped 27 points and did not miss a single shot, shooting 7 from 7. The Final Four will tip off from Houston tomorrow, starting with San Diego State taking on FAU at 5:09 p.m. The Aztecs will look to lean on their defense once again and stop the Owls. The next game will tip off shortly after, where Miami is set to take on UConn at 7:49 p.m. Find out if the Hurricanes can be the ones to stop UConn. You can catch both these games on CBS. The winner of these matchups will meet on the championship game on Monday night. That's all the men's basketball updates I have for you. For now, I'll pass it to Sam, where he will break down MLB opening day.
The MLB season kicked off on Thursday with some great games and fun storylines to follow. Aaron Judge, fresh off an AL MVP with a record-breaking 62 home run season, hit the first home run of the MLB season as the Yankees shut out the Giants 5-0. Garrett Cole impressed in his first start of the season, tossing 6 shutout innings and striking out 11. One of the Cubs' newest acquisitions had a big day as Chicago shut out the Milwaukee Brewers 4-0. Dansby Swanson, who signed a 7-year, $177 million deal in the offseason, went 3 for 4 with an RBI in his first game at Wrigley Field. Cubs starter Marcus Stroman opened his season with an impressive start, tossing 6 shutout innings and striking out 8. Adley Rutschman, the 2022 AL Rookie of the Year, looks primed for a breakout season after a huge day against the Boston Red Sox. Rutschman hit a home run in his first at-bat as part of a 5-for-5 day with 4 RBI, reaching base in all 6 at-bats, leading the Baltimore Orioles to a 10-9 win over the Red Sox. According to ESPN stats, he is only the 3rd player to ever go 5-for-5 with multiple RBI on opening day, joining Billy Herman and Babe Ruth. After starting the game down 8-2, the Red Sox stormed back with 5 runs in the final 2 innings before ultimately falling short as Felix Bautista held on, striking out Adam Duvall to end the game. The Toronto Blue Jays took down the St. Louis Cardinals 10-9 in one of the wildest games of the day. There were combined 34 hits between the two teams in a back-and-forth battle. Toronto got off to an early 4-1 lead before a 2-run home run by Tyler O'Neill drew the game close. The Blue Jays extended their lead with a sac fly, but Brendan Donovan hit a 2-run home run to tie the game at 5, all before 4 innings had even been finished. The teams continued battling back and forth, with each team answering as the other team scored. St. Louis went into the 8th down 8-7 after an RBI single from Vlad Guerrero Jr. Nolan Arenado decided the Cardinals weren't done yet, doubling down the left field line to give St. Louis a 9-8 lead. However, it was Toronto that got the last laugh. George Springer, who was 5 for 6 on the day, hit an RBI bloop single to tie the game at 9. The Blue Jays were not done, as Vlad Jr. hit a sacrifice fly to give them the lead. Jordan Romano shut the door on St. Louis as the Cardinals went down in order in the 9th. One of the better pitching matchups had a couple of former Cy Young winners facing off. Sandy Alcantara, last year's winner, and Max Scherzer, a 3-time winner, faced off in a matchup between the New York Mets and the Miami Marlins. However, neither pitcher had a standout performance to their standards, with Scherzer giving up 3 runs in 6 innings of work, while Alcantara pitched 5 2/3, giving up 3 runs on 3 hits. With both starters out of the game, it was the Mets that got to Miami's bullpen with a 2-run double from Brandon Nimmo. New York's bullpen was able to shut down the Marlins, winning the game 5-3. The defending champion Houston Astros kicked off the repeat quest on the wrong side of a pitcher's duel, losing 3-2 to the Chicago White Sox. White Sox ace Dylan Cease starred, striking out 10 and only giving up 1 run on 2 hits over 6 1/3 innings pitched. Framber Valdez turned in a good start for the Astros as well, tossing 5 shutout innings with 4 strikeouts. In a 1-1 game in the top of the 9th, Andrew Vaughn hit a 2-run double to left center to give the Sox a 3-1 lead. Yordan Alvarez homered in the bottom of the 9th, but that was all the scoring as Ronaldo Lopez picked up the save. Opening day showed that there will be a lot of action this season thanks to the new rules. The pitch clock, bigger bases, and no shifts have created a quicker game with more action in what should be a fun season. That's all for me today, and now over to Lauren to close out the show.
Thank you, Sam, and thanks to all of you for tuning in this week to another episode of Good Morning KU Sports. We'll see you next week. Rock Chalk.